What's going on, everybody? It is Big Z here, of course, and uh, I just want to talk about certain things happening in the world right now. Um, this excuse me. Of course, I mainly do hobby influence things on this channel, but that's just a part of you know my that's just a part of my just my hobby. That's just that's not the only thing I want to do. Um, as people, I feel that we all have a duty here, and I can't obviously sit back and it's really hard, man. Like you know, we're at dark times right now. A lot of things taking place in different areas of the world. Um, Majority of them aren't, of course, spoken about. But I just want to talk about the deception that we've been brought up with in this beginning. Well, the triggerance, if that's even a word, that's been triggered from this generation. Um, I honestly cannot I hold it in from everybody because a lot of the people that I tell these things to just I don't know brush me off. But whereas it's actually all fact, and the deception that we've been brought up with is just has become so big to the point where we've even accepted it, and it's just going more and more and more backwards. Like we're being led to a very, very dark alley. I'm not gonna sugarcoat shit on this channel. I'm just gonna be real with you guys. Um, of course, a lot of people know some things and some don't, but there's furthermore to these things that you know, we've been decepted to because we've been brought up that way, and we've you know grown into the deception of accepting these things. But I'm a very I might not look like it, but I'm actually a very religious person. Um, uh, I'm a strong, strong believer in God. Never have doubted at all. Um, Sorry if this is not the type of topic that you guys would like to see on a channel where it's mainly all games and all that stuff. But I can't just sit here and always hold these things inside me and watch the world burn because it really burns me. Okay. But the world that we're being brought up in now is pretty much the start of all the evil that we've been brought up with and learned to accept. Um, and I have no fear of talking. I've already experienced many things. I've been, you know, threatened. I've been, all these type of things. I'm not afraid of that shit because, um, we can't be afraid. Okay, that's the thing. We've been brought up with fear, and we've been brought up in a way, in a fashion, where we've been separated in an unholy amount of distance from God. And what we need to really start doing is not believing everything. Okay, like we can't just believe things that we don't that we just hear about, but instead we need to see it ourselves. And to see it ourselves, you need to open your eyes properly. You really need to open your eyes properly and understand what's really happening, and the fact that we are being led by evil, because it's all everywhere around us and it's all among us. But we still, continue to accept these things because we've been so numbed down with technology, and we've been very numbed. We've been very distracted. We've been very, very delusionized. But see, the thing that 90 or over percent of us don't realize is that everything here on this planet is planned, and it's definitely not planned by good, but it's planned by evil, and it's all methods of separating us from God. Um, what we do is we choose not to see these things, which is a big mistake. We've got many things happening, and don't get me wrong, the world goes on because that's how our Creator has made things, where things just go on, and eventually the world, trying to pretty much figures itself out, along with the universe. But as people and as creations of God ourselves, our job is not to, our job is to be a bit more awake. Sorry for the bad talking. I just woke up because my sleeping pattern is really bad. It's actually 3 a.m. right now, and yeah. So what we need to really do is just open up our eyes a little bit more, open our spirit a bit more. We're in a very, very sinful world, and that we've adapted to accepting, which is very wrong. Okay, very, very wrong. And that is our duty to accept it and help ourselves and help others with that. And instead of watching the world burn, we need to try and, step out of illusion ourselves. As we're talking, we've got nature being destroyed, the beautiful creation that God has created, all the creations that God has created. We really do take for granted, and sometimes I look at the stars and think to myself, we really do take things for granted that God has given us, and because we've let ourselves fall into these methods of separating us from God. We shouldn't we can't just stand here and let things burn, okay? We can't just stand here and let everything that's happening happen and take place and just, wash it off with a few likes and love hearts, reactions on Facebook or Instagram or shit like this, alright? For example, last week, all the social media went off and everybody went berserk. All the social media went off for about, I'm not sure how long, but like a short period of time, and the whole world was like in a little state of panic. If anything, this alone should tell us something, that we're very we're very in a big deception here, and we've been very badly separated. Okay. I'm not saying I'm a very good person. That's far from the truth. Like, I don't believe I'm that type of. I'm not a. I don't believe I'm a really really good person. Okay, like we've all got, sins that we all have. But pretty much everything that we're doing right now is just awful. And our kids are growing up to these things, and our kids are going to end up growing up to these things. We cannot allow this to happen. Like, we can't accept this. We've got we've got all these, gay people, drag queens being glorified, and like just a few months ago, this little kid that is in the passion of drag has came out and said all these things, but this is not how we naturally are. This is just the things that we've been decepted into, and we're the ones responsible for these things. All right, not the kids. They're the ones growing up into it. They don't know anything better because they're very new, and it's our job to let these things not happen. And in order to do that, we can't be afraid of things, because if we're being afraid to stop the things that is against the nature of God and our Creator, then we are at fault ourselves. Okay, this is what we need to do. We can't accept these things. We can't brush these things off. We can't let these things continue, because it will get worse and worse and worse, right? And I'm not, I don't have anything. Don't get me wrong. I don't have anything against gay people or, anything like that. Or all these, like, people are people themselves, and I don't believe that someone that chooses to like someone that is in their own gender, I don't think they're bad people, right? What I believe is, God looks into the pure intentions and the pure heart in each and every individual, and I don't think, he is going to eternally punish someone because of their their sexuality. I think it all depends on, someone's pure intentions and pure heart and all these things. But we are the ones, accepting these things more and more, and it's completely and utterly wrong. It's absurd. It's gone to the point where absurd, and now we've become to a time where even if you speak up against these things, you are labeled as, a discriminator, or just a judgmental person, or all these things. But whereas you're just really speaking the truth and trying to protect the nature that God has created. And we can't let our kids grow up into this environment, like, because if it's going to be like this from now, which is a very bad point, just imagine for a second how things will be in the future. All right, just imagine how utterly disgusting things would be in the future, and how distant we will be from everything that God has said, and and connecting with our Creator, and just complete and utterly sinful world as it already is. But imagine if we continue like this. Imagine how bad, how awful things will be in the future. If you really think about it, it will actually frighten you, because you know, um, I go to work every day, 5 times a day or whatever. I do my own thing, and but all these things have always been kept inside of me, and I just hate watching this world burn, and it feels awful not being able to do anything about it, because no one is really properly standing up, and no one is really putting their foot down, and we've got so many awful events taking place right now. Um, but what we need to do is understand that these things are all planned. These things are all planned because you know the planet that we live in is led by evil, everything, and it's all around us, it's all among us, and um we've begin to accept it all. So you know I just I don't know, it feels really awful just watching these things happen, and watching us as people accept these things, and saying that this is accepting that this is right for our children and for the future. It's not. It really is not. And you know, we're being so careless. We're being so numb. We're being so distant with spiritually and emotionally and mentally. We're being so distant with you know everything, and it's just awful. And like, but we brush these things off, but when our phone stops working or something like that, we go berserk. It's just, it's really unnatural, okay, these things. Very unnatural. And we need to try and separate ourselves from these things. Um, I myself do try, and am trying my best. I'm actually on my own path of finding my own spirituality, to be honest, completely as well, myself. Um, but, you know, uh, for example, about a week ago, well, this week, I was speaking to this girl that we were pretty interested in each other, right? And um, she asked me, "What do you think about homosexuals and bisexuals?" She's like, "It's an important question. I just want to know your opinion." And I gave her my opinion. I said, I don't think there's, that they're bad people. I believe that all depends on um, the individual's pure intentions, their pure heart, and their well being of their soul. All those things. I said that's what really matters. But I did say that I disagree that these things are natural, because they are not natural, and we've been brought up to accept these things, which is just, in my eyes, an abomination, and it's just a huge step from from being separated from nature, and from all these things that we've been brought up with in evil. And I said, it's just, I believe that it's not natural, but I don't believe that they are bad people. There is good and bad gay or straight people, and there is, it doesn't matter about that. But I do believe that it's not natural. And all this, she just went off at me, and like, really, really badly went off at me. She said, "I fucking hate your opinion," and all this type of shit. I'm like, well, hey, you asked me, and I gave it to you. I said, I didn't say that they're bad people. I just said, I just don't believe that these are all natural, and I don't believe that, what we're doing right now, being numb to everything, letting nature be destroyed for money, and letting, our spirits be destroyed and separated from God, all these things, I said it's not natural. And pretty much because she's been brought up to believe these things as normal, and she just completely went off at me, and and I just said, you know what, I just said, God bless you, God help you. In my mind I said that, but in reality I just blocked her off. But I said, whatever. It's just awful, man. Like of course I make a lot of, on my channel, of course, I play a lot of games and all that, and I do the videos that you guys want me to do when you guys request me, but I can't really always just sit here and let these things build up on me and just not say a word. And and whenever I do say a word, a lot of times I get completely judged for it, because we've been brought up to believe that these things are completely normal, that things that is completely against nature and God's words is all normal, but it's not. And it's to be honest, it's disgusting. Okay, you look at everything right now, you'll understand what I really mean. Look at anything you could think about, like from the people that is being glorified, from the music that we listen to, which is a bit hypocritical of me, because I do admit that I love hip hop. I've always loved hip hop, like no matter what, and also rock at times. But when I look at these things, I still have my eyes wide open, and I know what the actual intention is. But I just take the little bit of entertainment from it and just use that. But I'm still aware of what the actual bad intentions are. This is what we need to do. Okay, we can't just ignore and just look and not understand or not realize what's really happening, because it's just, that's the complete opposite of what we are supposed to be doing right now. And this is the deception that we've been brought up with, is to be numb, and it's just be completely numb, and to believe lies, to believe, to believe separation, to believe all these deceptions, and not allow ourselves to understand what the real intentions are. And yeah, and also be very uncaring. For example, I've never really, my age group is really into clubbing and going to bars and all these things at every weekend after working, and just getting completely drunk and surrounding themselves with with all these people that, you know, are just there for one specific reason, and that's just for majority of the time lustful reasons, right? um, yeah, but of course I've done these things myself, but I never really truly enjoyed it. Not sure if it's because of my anxiety or anything like that. I'm not sure if I'm really anxious anymore, but I've always had a really bad vibe from these things, and um, I know for a fact, I've always known that for a fact that these things are not normal, but I've still participated in them just to, uh, you know, to look normal and to be accepted by, for example, my friends, or to look normal in the eyes of everybody else. But inside, inside, truly myself, I really disagree with these things. But I just precipitated in these things because I want to appear normal, because I've been judged a lot. And these things are not what I believe God wants. These are far from the things that I believe is normal, and it's been labeled as normal. All these things, everybody's become so fucking numb to the point where every weekend they just care about getting drunk after work. They're like, and they don't give a shit about anything else. Like, for example, I had a course I was doing one time. It was travel and tourism. I believe it was certificate 3. And yeah, so we had this assignment where we went up to the mountains and the forest. Not the forest, but it was like around the mountain area. It was a really beautiful place. It was very beautiful. You could clearly see the stars. It was very high in the mountains. There was really nice food. The nature was really beautiful. And it was whole the whole building, the whole course, that from one campus, also the other campus came together and also, you know, went to this one place. And it was beautiful. It was a really beautiful experiences. The nature was beautiful. There was kangaroos you could see outside, and from your window, um, where we had our tents, and there was beautiful mountains, and there was the stars felt like it was so close because the mountain was so high, and the air was really fresh. It was absolutely beautiful, right? It was so stunning, and I really took in these, and I was just like, wow, like this is absolutely amazing. Like I felt really I don't know, I felt like I was feeding my soul at that time, because I was connecting with nature, and you know, I was doing, I was connecting to the things that, you know, the absolutely beautiful creations that God has created, the beautiful nature. I was really connecting to with it. I was taking it all in, and it was absolutely beautiful. Meanwhile, we had all these, girls and guys that were. I don't mean to be judgmental. Okay, I'm just telling you guys what I'm seeing from my eyes, and the things that I keep in for a very long time, because these things from a very long time. I'm telling you a few things, and and you know these my like these individuals have been so separated from nature, and from the things that God has created, and from the things that we really take for granted. And they all they wanted was to get this, you know assignment over with so they can leave, finish the weekend, the week, and get drunk on the weekend. They're just like, I just want to get drunk on the weekend. This is so boring. This is really, really boring and all this type of shit. And in my head, I'm just thinking, like, anyway, these things, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie, really do aggravate me. I don't know why. I really don't know why, but things that are against God and against God's nature and against all these things that God has made and created, these things that are against it, it really, really boils my blood. And the fact that we don't cherish these things really, really boils my blood. And the fact that, you know, the way that we now have been so separated from everything that God has made is so aggravating, is so frustrating. I don't know why, but it absolutely, like, it just really tears me apart. It actually hurts, and it just shows how much that we as people, we as, God's creations, have been separated from all these things, and it's just disgusting. I'm honestly disgusted with all these things right now that is happening, and the way that people are, the way that people are accepting all these disgusting things and unnatural things. It's I'm trying not to be loud as well because everybody is sleeping. I'm the only one awake. But it's just all these things that we've been so numb to, and we don't appreciate all these things. It just is so disgusting, and I'm not afraid to say it anymore. I'm absolutely disgusted with this world, and I'm disgusted with how we've become, and how separated, and how badly we've let these things, just distant us, and yeah, but I don't know what else to say. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it out there for now because I could go on forever and ever, and but I might do a little more of these things, a little more talking on this channel because I'm not someone that's afraid to talk. If I want to say something, I will literally say it, even if it's to somebody's face. I will still say it because I don't. To be honest, I believe holding in things that you want to say just builds up more and more, and it's just, yeah. I think it's best to say things up front instead of saying it behind, like, I don't know, saying it behind the situation's back type of thing. It's just my personal belief. I believe saying you shouldn't hold in things that you want to say, even if it's maybe not so much negative things, but the things that you believe that is right. I believe you should never hold these things back from saying it, and you should never be afraid to talk because we've been brought up with fear, okay? And yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's just we shouldn't be afraid of things that we want to say that we believe is right. Anyway, yeah, I'll probably do a bit more talking on this channel about anything in general. Of course, along with the games and all that. But yeah, so I hope I hope I somewhat, made sense in this video. I'm still really sleepy. I apologize for that if I couldn't talk properly. But yeah. And take care of yourselves, guys. God bless you all. And yeah, I'll see you soon.